Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Sorry, that was me. Go ahead. Redo it. It's
You
my
guys
fault.
watching? They're still live. We're 9 seconds in, everyone, and welcome to Analytics Are for the Nerds. It's NFL schedule announcement day, so we have so much to talk about. Let's go.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up.
All right.
We
I have a
good?
confession. I didn't tell you guys this in the pre-meeting, but now that we're here and live and you guys can't really go anywhere, I got a little drunk. I'm just a little drunk. Happy hour was supposed to only be one drink by myself. And then, like I said, Kyle stopped by unexpectedly, and then that turned into. So I'm a little, and that's why I hit that too quick. So I do apologize.
Apologize to our early listeners. If this makes you feel any better, my dog has a cactus toy that he carries around, but when visitors show up, it looks like this, which is chewed up part of it. If it looks. Okay.
Between that and the roast beef, they are making regular appearances on the podcast. I will say this: I don't know how many listeners we are going to have. I do know at the bar I was just at, I told a 22-year-old girl that looks like she never watched a sport in her life that I was going to record this podcast, and I'm pretty sure she's checking it out. So hi to the cute girl that I didn't get her name. I apologize.
She's cute and she's like listening now. So thank you for listening. And she stopped her happy hour for you. So that is so so good. Ryan, I know you went to the West Coast. How was that the last few days?
I did. I got to go to San Diego for a couple of days, visit a friend from high school, and ate a lot of great seafood. It's just awesome out there. Weather was just, average, right? But anything's really an improvement from here. And got to play Torrey Pines. So that was a really fun experience, really good world-renowned golf course, which hosted the U.S. Open in 2021. And I think the Farmers tournament is going to be coming there this year. So it'll be fun to watch.
Did you feel like Ron Burgundy every time you saw San Diego and just were like, did you do like the San Diego kind of thing?
I mean, yeah, I just would walk around doing that to people because I figured that's what you do in San Diego, right? You just start talking like Ron Burgundy, and that's how you dress people. It's like the Aloha in Hawaii. It's the same thing.
Yes, so. I love it. I love the whale's vagina. Welcome. My two of my siblings were born in San Diego. My dad's from the West Coast, so we lived out there for a little bit. So it's a little piece of home for me. So I hope it was lovely and fun. You were just talking about golf. Did you hear the exciting news just for me that Rory McIlroy is getting a divorce? Did you hear about that?
I did hear about that. Yeah.
Any rumors you heard?
I don't know his type, or if he's actively looking, or if he's gonna sort of take it easy. And I don't know. But he's there was some video I had seen where he was like being interviewed after winning the tournament this past weekend, and I guess like only mentioned as his mom and didn't mention anything about his wife. And then I think it just kind of makes sense that that's it. Next day.
Is that a power move, gentlemen, to announce your divorce on a Friday and then to win a tournament the next day? Is that a power move?
You think he timed it that way? You think he was like, I feel good this weekend. I'm gonna announce it.
That's a mic drop.
I'm over a year into my separation/divorce, and I still haven't announced mine. So I don't get like that. How long has this been happening? She hasn't been around the last few things. I have a very big stance that I don't think I could ever be that famous with that much money and be married. I think I would stay single. I think he's better off today than he was. And I don't know much about the girl, but I think he's better off today than he was a week ago.
Ryan, any
I love that. I love that observation. You're like, I know nothing about this girl, but I just have to imagine he's way better off. Yeah, it's like the old school Facebook, updating the relationship status like immediately afterwards, just to broadcast that. So, maybe he wanted people to know he's no longer married, and it's time to close the book, right? He's just starting a new chapter. So good for him, I guess, right? Good luck to both of them.
I will say this just to now make you feel like garbage. They do have a 3-year-old daughter named Poppy, which is just, oh, I know. Now, do you want to say anything about the demise of the relationship?
Allie, stop me if I've asked you this before, as the female part of this podcast, but I may have mentioned this before, but I sometimes still will go out with my wedding ring on purpose. As a woman, am I stupid, or does that move work better for some people?
I think
that naive.
It's, as a comic, it's funny. As a human, it's gross. Because what are you trying to do? Who are you trying to find? And if someone's like, oh, I shouldn't.
There's a kink there.
Where's the moral compass?
Are you asking where my moral compass is? I've known you for 7 years. You asking?
Yeah. So
hey, listen, don't hate the player, hate the game. That's what they say. He's gaming just like he's got to get any edge you can. But the number one rule though is to be yourself. So you gotta just be yourself.
Oh, that's very sweet. Very, very good. I've always loved Rory. So, all right. So just to talk about myself for a second, if you're in the Buffalo area, the Buffalo Bandits are playing their championship weekend this weekend. The National Lacrosse League, the NLL, they have their championship week, which is against the Albany Firewolves and the Buffalo Bandits. Game 1 is in Albany on Friday. Game 2 is in Buffalo. It's the best of 3. So no pressure. It's all pressure. It's all pressure. So that's Friday and Saturday. So maybe I'll see people. Maybe I won't. We're going to now go into a little bit more sport talk. We're going to go into baseball, which I love a little baseball talk and connection into the Real Housewives. Once again, the big Ohtani LA Dodgers story. We all have heard the crazy story about the interpreter spending $16 million. I'm sorry, stealing $16 million of Ohtani's $70+ million bank account. And the crazy connection with the Real Housewives, which happens now in sports, is that from the Real Housewives of Orange County, character Jen, her fiance, who wears True Religion jeans, which not ew, but he was the booker for Ohtani's interpreter. So he's the guy that collected the money to place the bets. Crazy. Yes. And you guys, so are you guys following the story at all, or am I the only one that cares about baseball?
No, I'm with you. It is absolutely insane. And it's also kind of insane how little attention it got after the first, because there's still crazy shit coming out and no one's the dude just playing every day. Yeah. And the fact that he literally can't answer for himself is a fun thing about this. Sports are going so much downhill since gambling's been introduced in most states legally, I think. And just like how boxing was for years, where I never believed an outcome, I'm starting to get to be that guy with the tinfoil hat. It's I don't know if I'm going to be able to believe outcomes in games and such because of this crazy gambling sense.
Did you hear that Ohtani's interpreter, there were moments where his teammates who are also from Japan, some are from Japan who speak the language, they were noticing that when the interpreter was apologizing for the debt or for this gambling problem, they weren't saying he wasn't saying oh, I took the money from Ohtani. I just he was just I have a gambling problem. And everyone's he's not telling the whole story. So he's been like lying. Oh, it's just crazy. It's like just the stuff he hasn't told, which is could be a very sensitive or funny bit where people just he just what he tells Otani and what he doesn't. But it's such an insane story, and I love that it has a Real Housewives connection. It makes me like so happy. So you can bring that to Chanel, Ryan.
I will. I'll let her know. I'll say it's the one thing I'll know about the Housewives, right?
Yes. Here's okay. Have you guys heard the big talk on around town? And by on town, I mean probably 2 blogs. Is that the bear versus man story? Have you guys heard this thing?
I don't know this, so please. And again, I saw the hype, and I wanted to Google it, and I haven't. So awesome.
Yes. So when I say blogs, I mean if anyone does a blog still, they're losers because they should have a podcast now. So if you're like on Blogspot, calm down. So there was a question, and you guys can answer this. It was, if you have like a baby, would you rather your baby be stuck in a forest with a man you don't know or a bear? 70% of respondents have said a bear over a human man. So one is, I'm going to say, I know plenty of, including the people I'm talking to right now, the 2 men, great humans. I would trust a baby with you 2 men. So I like, are people just so anti-men right now? Do you think you need to go on a PR issue? Would you rather your daughters with a bear? Please explain.
I mean, I think that's easily the wrong way, percentage-wise. I mean, listen, I get it. There's a lot of shady people out there, okay? But that's maybe what? 30% of the people, 40%, right? I mean, probably even less if we're talking about, actually causing some sort of harm to your baby, right? What percentage of bears are going to potentially eat your child? Like that's got to be way higher than 30 or 40%. So I'm picking the random guy 10 out of 10 times if those are the only options. Easy call.
Yeah, I've seen Jungle Book. Like Baloo is so cute. I think I would say like maybe 4% of men are really bad, where I'd be like, please don't turn me into your child bride. But I don't think all men are bad. I don't think all men are bad. I think we all make bad choices. We all are bad. But like the ones that get showcased are the ones on Dateline, which are married. So like you're not going to be the one with my kid in a forest, but like not everyone is bad. I think I agree. I think a human is more likely to get you out of a forest than a bear. And it's so funny that this is like so wildly.
Give me the bear all day. I want the bear.
You want the bear?
I really want the bear. Yeah, I want the bear. Like one.
Elena and a bear?
Yeah, I want my daughter's lovable. That bear is gonna like make her like her little daughter, and a bear has enough common sense and human abilities that the bear is going to realize this baby is in harm, and I don't even like dropping her off at her uncle's house. Like and I know that dude pretty good. You hear a lot of uncle stories. You know what I'm saying? You never hear bear stories. You never hear, this bear killed this baby. You hear a lot of how uncles kind of touch babies in inappropriate places.
Okay, point taken. What if your daughters are allergic to bees and the bear was like, look, little baby girl. I don't know what bear accents are. Look, little baby. And then they like take on.
Why are you a Swedish bear?
I've been really following Gordon Ramsay lately, so I just feel like I'm like, why do you not? Yeah, I'm so ew. I want the human too if a bear spoke like that to me. But like, what if there's like a bee's nest and then the bear like knocks it down and then the kid's like, and there's no EpiPen. There's so many questions. I also think it's wild that the first reaction is a man is more likely to hurt or manipulate a child than a bear mauling. Like what?
I'm telling you, you don't hear about it. Tell me
I
how
mean,
many babies bears have tell me how many babies bears have killed in the last year, and tell me how much sexual abuse
Yeah.
has happened to babies.
But
in the last
let's
Give me the
compare
bear.
let's compare how many times you're going to take your kid to your uncle's house or another man's house versus a bear's house. You're not going to just go into the forest. You're not bringing the child out to the bear. So of course those numbers are going to be skewed, Lou. Come on.
Yeah. And we know to pretend to be dead if we're around a bear. So, like, is the kid like pretending and they roll when they go to a new like cave? They're like, why is it dead? So I just think I'm team man on this one as well, right? I think I don't think all humans are evil. I will say I still have a lot of faith in humanity. But I like that you have a weird uncle. Do you want to give him a shout out right now on the podcast?
His name's Dirk. It's weird. One time when I broke up with my girlfriend, she cheated on me. Like, and it like I didn't even know she was breaking up with me, and I woke up the next day and she was like, her Facebook status was like single, and like my uncle Dirk loved the status. Yeah, it's like there was like a winky face comment. I was like, man, Dirk, you're weird.
I think Lou's imagining in this scenario that it's either Dirk or the bear. So
I don't think you guys believe. Yeah, I don't think you guys believe I have an Uncle Dirk that's weird, but I will send you the screenshots.
Is that his Christian name?
Yeah. He only wears Zubas.
Oh,
that's all he does. Work, home, you know.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go.
One more, just to now counterpoint how Ryan and I are probably wrong. Remember that dress that went viral that was like, is it gold? Is it gold? That guy has now confessed to strangling his wife, the dress guy. So
because
maybe the bear is the better option.
Like they had to be on opposite sides of that argument, right? He was like, it's blue. She was like, it's gold. It's like, fuck you, bitch. Yeah, like, sorry. Yeah. I shouldn't make fun of that. But that's probably how it happened, right?
Yeah.
It was weird. It's weird. I saw that the other day.
Yeah.
I have a everything and nothing with Ellie like thing that I think you'll like. That I was assuming that you would bring this up, and you didn't, so I will mention it here before we move on. Is did you see the girl that flashed the portal from New York to Dublin or whatever? If that was a dude, he'd be arrested on the spot. And this girl was complaining about it, or not complaining, bragging about doing it an hour later on TikTok. Come on.
Free the nipple.
Yeah, listen, nobody wants to see what we got going on. All right. That's offensive. Of course, people should be arrested if they're walking around, doing that. But otherwise, yeah, I'm no problem with it. Good for her.
Yeah, no one wants to see everyone's pulls out,
How am I the conservative one on this podcast?
Free the nipple.
The last two subjects here. I'm the conservative one. I'm talking about the uncle you don't want to. You guys are.
The conservative view is picking the bear here. I just want to get that right.
It's okay if everyone's a little nervous by Louis' outtakes. Don't worry, he's not even registered to vote, so we're okay.
Yeah, no, listen, we're just leading right into the schedule release. This is all just telling you to bet the Bears this year. Over on Bears.
I'm over on Bears. Over on Bears week 1.
Jay Cutler, long live. You'll pick the bear over Jay Cutler. So very interesting. So let's move to the very exciting news of the day: the NFL schedule release. Let's take a look. Let's look at highlights. I know there's a big there's so many exciting things to think about. I know I'm going to be out of town for week 1, which I believe there's a Bills home opener that day. So tickets are on sale at my Ticketmaster if anyone needs them.
Opener against Arizona.
Arizona. What a maybe lackluster game for everyone to watch. But any highlights, anything you want to talk about, any interesting games? How long until they talk about Travis Kelce and his show with Wanda Sykes? Like, what's going on?
I kind of love the Bills home, opener. First of all, it being a 1:00 game, in September, anytime you can get an early September game at 1:00, I mean, take it, right? And it's an opponent that, yes, like they're not a world beater, but they just got Marvin Harrison. You got a full, hopefully a healthy Kyler Murray. That defense should be kind of suspect still. I'm expecting that. I mean, they really only have a couple of pieces on that line, and I'm expecting the Bills to take care of business, right? Like that's a good way to start the year. So those are important things to me for that. The interesting part of their schedule, starting with the Bills, of course, is that week 11 matchup against the Chiefs right before the bye, and then going and playing a home game against the 49ers after the bye, a Monday night or Sunday night game. So they have obviously a lot of marquee matchups. And Lou, I know we're going to get into this probably pretty in detail as we go on, but just a couple of the week 17 games. Do you want to sort of give your thoughts first on the Bills and the whole league, or do you want to just go right to week 17?
No, I will quickly just kind of reference off the Bills schedule a little bit. Like my biggest takeaway was just like, what is it? 5 more primetime games, right? This year, 5, 4. And I was just like, I'm too old. Just give me 1:00 on Sundays, which I'm fine. I'm glad that the opener is that. I'm also glad the opener should be a winnable game. Like that's what I want. I want a winnable game week 1 at 1:00 on a Sunday. I want to be asleep by 8:00. And all these friggin', and they'll probably be flexed into at least one more night game. So we're talking 6 games at night. I'm over it. I know for years we're like, we should be on prime time. Why does nobody love us? Now I'm like, I needed some sleep. So I know week 17 for them is what, the Jets?
The Jets at home.
Jets.
Yep.
And if we're gonna start talking about week 17 here a little bit, and because that's obviously the big week for fantasy, that will be a fun game. Like the cool thing about like a thing like BBM 5 and trying to stack by week now, those two teams will be I'm sure popular, but the cool thing is you could pretty much stack both those teams pretty late. I mean, they don't have, besides Garrett Wilson, they don't really have high weapons. And I mean, you could get Garrett Wilson and Josh Allen early, and then you could get Rodgers late and Keon Coleman and Shakir. And I think I'll ask you this, Ryan, before we move on to other 17 games, because I was interested to talk about this week. Do you have like a feel about which mediocre wide receiver is going to come out of this bunch? Do you think that, none of them are going to work out? Do you have like a good feeling that one's going to be the guy that, it gets, I don't, is why I'm asking.
I believe that the most common answer right now is Dalton Kincaid leading the team in targets, just because he's the most established incumbent that they have. But my pick is Keon Coleman. I think he's going to come in there and he's going to earn this from the start. I think he is going to really pay off the Bills by making that pick. I know I'm super high on him. I've been high on him this whole process. He's been my guy, but I know it's hard for a rookie to do that. But it's funny in the chat, Allie just asked if we could get Ryan a Coleman jersey. Funny you say that. I ordered it the day after round 2 of the draft. I ordered it that Saturday. So it's on its way. It's already pre-ordered. So whenever they start printing those things for shipping out, I'm getting one.
Wait. You paid money to the NFL when Louis could have gotten you one from China?
I could have got you one that said KOHLM.
Coles man. It said Coles man. Like I'm a big fan of Coles. We should actually get a Coles man jersey with the Atlanta Falcons one and just make it Kirk Cousins number. You could just wear just walk around. He's the Coles man. All right, that really got derailed. But yes, he's going to lead the team in targets. That's my prediction.
100%. He's thinking about the Kool-Aid man now wearing a Coleman jersey, and he's like,
so just one other thought on the schedule. It is there's that stretch of going on the road, week 4 to the Ravens for the Bills, and then playing at week 5 the Texans, and then week 6 at the Jets. That's a tough end of September, early October. That's going to really kind of shape the rest of the season. But as we know, it's just about getting right at the hot time. So just on that week 17 game with the Jets and Bills, one of the things that scares me off about it, of course, is the potential for weather to play a factor. We know it has in the past. Sometimes you can't overestimate the effect that it's going to have, but I don't think you can underestimate it either. You have to sort of let it play somewhat of a factor in making your decision. So if we look at the slate of other games that, I don't think, in my opinion, it's a top 3 stackable game. I just don't think, even though you have weapons on both sides, I'm kind of scared off about that being a potentially lower scoring game, as it has kind of been in the past, right? There not really been a lot of shootouts between these two teams. Well, as presently formed, it's going to be hard to tell. There was really not much of an experience with Rodgers last year. But, I mean, Ravens at Texans, week 17, that has to be at the top of the list. I would expect a high scoring game, and that's just, it's in a dome. So that's huge. Lions at 49ers on Monday Night Football, for the teams that end up waiting and getting that week 17 game, that could be a potential shootout as well. And then I like to try and find these games where you might not expect them to be the big, marquee matchup, and it might be easy to throw in these stacks. And one that's standing out to me right away is Packers at Vikings. The Vikings offense could be decent just because of the weapons that they already have. And I don't expect their defense to be anything good. So like they were last year. So that could be a shootout. I mean, you have, you can stack Green Bay and Minnesota really easily. And that could be your secondary stack, right? Compared to some of the, main ones that you might be going for. So those games were the initial ones that stood out. And of course, one of the other dome games, Cardinals at Rams, that's a nice West Coast thing. Those are the ones that stand out. Do you want me to run through the list of them, Lou?
I have them here. I do like the Cardinals Rams, just looking at it right now. Like, again, like you said, just good weather. Our boy Puka. Let me ask you this now that I'm just mentioning Puka. I find myself, and it's so easy to do. So I don't know how many BBMs you're into, but like almost every time I'm taking Puka, I'm taking Kupp in the 3rd round. And I'm wondering if that's actually starting to become the chalk, because I know that it's good to have the stacks and stuff, but like, because of where they're going, I think there's so many Puka Kupp teams that I think I'm going to start moving away from Kupp there, to be perfectly honest.
I'm already almost a full fade on Kupp. I have near 0 shares of him. I just think the bottom's about to fall off. I think he's a Deebo Samuel-esque type player that has, that 1 year that throws everyone's perception way out of proportion, and he's not going to deliver that type of production where I know you're not drafting him in the top, 1-2 turn anymore, but I'm just off Cooper. I don't think he's going to do it. Puka's taken over that offense. They're going to run more because they now have 2 backs that can do it. And I'm thinking grab Puka, grab Blake Corum. If you can get Kyron there, great. And just stack it that way. And maybe you're rolling the dice that you're right. The market does say we're going to chalk Puka with Cooper all the way, and you can be different and have DK Metcalf there, or someone else in another game that's going to potentially pop off. So I would much rather do that. Or they're playing the Cardinals, right? I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, at that spot, you're really not taking any Cardinals where you would take Cooper, Kupp. I mean, Marvin Harrison's going in
it's going to be earlier,
so
and
it's not like you could.
I think McBride
you're right.
Might be around Kupp, right?
Yeah, so, actually, that's a good call. I like that better.
Yep. Just 3 other real quick week 17 games in decent weather or domes and they're like with lesser teams that might be fun to start stacking. Vegas, New Orleans, like that could be fun. Neither of them could be good. It could be that week 17 game where they're just playing, pick up football. Carolina and Tampa Bay, 2 teams that I like a lot. I do feel like that game would be important for playoff implications. And sometimes I don't love how that looks for scoring, but again, good weather and two lesser owned offenses. And then Tennessee at Jacksonville, 2-2. I think Jacksonville is not getting enough of love. I think Lawrence really kind of scorned people last year, and I think that they are starting to become a value all over the place, including ETN. I'll stack Lawrence, ETN, Kirk. And the only one I don't like is Brian Thomas Jr. I'm 30 real quick. 30 rookie drafts deep, and I don't have one share of Brian Thomas Jr. I'm full fading him.
I'm with you there, at least on the most of the best ball stuff. I've not really been touching him in that area unless he falls a couple of spots past ADP. And without running the risk of getting into every single one of these games, I'll just toss out two other interesting matchups that are on the, lower end of the scale, if you want to put it that way. Colts at Giants. I know it's not necessarily going to be a good weather game, but I just like the potential for that game to get kind of silly, right? I mean, the Colts have been in those games where they're letting teams score 40 some points. And, I know it's maybe a pie in the sky type thought here, but, I'm big into Neighbors. I think he's going to have a big year, and you kind of have the benefit of targeting around just a couple of pieces on either side. And, again, making it only kind of a secondary type stack. And then the other one that I was looking at to target potentially is Falcons and Commanders. Again, not because of the weather, but if you're going to go based on just the teams and the potential for high scoring outcomes, if the Falcons really are running on all, hitting on all cylinders right there, going to play a Washington team that kind of is a depleted defense, right? They're trying to rebuild that. And they're going to have a running quarterback that is always a wild card for extra points. So, I love taking Jaden Daniels. If I'm not getting someone or taking one of the elite quarterbacks, making him my QB1 is fine in some of these best balls that I've been, doing on the early side. So there's certainly some intriguing matchups. And the fun thing will be as the summer progresses, starting to see, how injuries will affect certain things and kind of how it actually will then shift the ADPs in the market to move some of these players just because of these advantageous matchups.
Well, there you go, guys. 10 of the 16 games look like they're good. I think we named 75% of the games. One of those things is going to hit. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut
I think that's really important to say. I'm so interested. I know this is like a weird thing and we shouldn't talk about analytics, right? But I'm so obsessed with start of game time and how that affects the schedule. And okay, so I'll just say, as a Bills fan, I'll say this: 8 20 games, 8 1 p.m. games, 8 4 o'clock games, 4:25 games. Well, and then I looked at the Kansas City, which we're all going to have eyes on, right? By the way, anyone really exciting on their team you have drafted? No.
I'm getting higher on Worthy, and I know I've been on Worthy the whole time, but I'm on Worthy, and I still think Pacheco is going at too cheap of a price there at running back. I just don't think he has much behind him for competition, and so I think Pacheco and I like Hollywood Brown a lot too. So Pacheco, Hollywood Brown, and Worthy, I'm buying a lot. I'm fading Kelsey, Mahomes, and Rice, who's probably not playing this year.
And that's, you know what? And this might describe my style when it comes to best ball, because I was the one that was taking Deshaun Watson, in advance of the year with the suspension and hearing it was reduced to whatever it was, 10 games and or up to 10 games, right? He took a settlement when it was only 6. So, I am actually biggest on Rice only because I am very much enjoying the ADP discount of the uncertainty of the suspension. And look, I know it can go two ways here, right? I know I could get burned holding on to those bags, but the way that I see it, I don't think a full season suspension is likely. I don't even think that's possible at this point. That's not going to happen. And look, if I'm building a team,
Brian's trying to get a client over here.
No, do not do.
Rasheed, if you're listening, I got you.
Listen, I don't do criminal work. Okay, so that's out of my ballpark. But I'm just looking at this from a market value perspective, and I think you're getting the best value on what could be the Chiefs' wide receiver 1. And yes, let's all look down at the bottom ticker here. So I did find out that Chiefs game on Christmas is actually going to be featuring or is played on Netflix. And as we all know, I don't have Netflix because I didn't see up until actually last weekend. I did see the Tom Brady roast while my friend who is in his nice San Diego apartment. He's got Netflix. He's showing me up here. I'm gonna have to get Netflix. I think that's it. I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet and do it, and that's okay.
So, Ryan, going back to the bear man thing, do you find it odd that a man won't give you his Netflix account, but a bear would?
This is exactly why we're 70-30 bear, because that's, I just need the damn password. And look, it's just, we have too many damn streaming services now. Like we fought so much against cable.
Yes, get off my lawn. I get it. I get it.
You gotta draw the line somewhere. You do.
I get it. I think that's
like, isn't it like them, somebody else? There's like 3 of the big ones. Netflix, I think. I don't know. Max, maybe, whatever. There's 3 of the big ones that are like combining, and people are like, "Oh, so like cable?" What are we doing?
I'm not upset with it because I think like spread the wealth, share it, like Hulu, all that. Like most of us have it, and I think we have to look at how to make this billion-dollar company larger. Like, I'm not against that. Like, Goodell's got to make money. I get it. We're paying people more money, and CTE lawsuits will eventually come out again. Ryan, you'll maybe go into injury. But I'm not opposed to it. Because like if your local channel will still provide it for you, but I think this like it's very much like I live in my mom's basement. I don't have any of these services. Like to me, that's kind of what it is. Like, guys, you have these things. You just have to switch and figure it out. I don't know. Or go to a bar, or like most people tend to watch games on their laptop or with friends or something. If they don't, we'll figure it out. I don't know.
Well, there's going to be a lot of, think of it, if it's on Christmas, right? We're going to be shared households, right? There's going to be a lot of people watching on just one of the users' accounts. So
what a gift. You can maybe get a sibling or a family or Uncle Derp. What was his name? His Netflix account.
Derp. Don't call him Derp. That's offensive. You just said the most offensive thing on this podcast somehow.
Isn't that like a weird toe on a dog?
No, derp is dogs when they go, when they do.
I
They're
love it. Oh, look at I'm like warm inside. Yeah. Oh, keep doing it. I'm like. So okay. Everyone, please fund Ryan so he can get a Netflix account, so he can have a very Merry Christmas.
Or just invite me over on Christmas, one of the two.
Or just yes, okay. We might have an open house on Christmas, so you can bring the whole family over.
Perfect.
Any other high value veterans we want to look at that?
So Lou had the idea for talking about any of these veterans that might have depressed value right now based on some rookie hype, which is fervent right now, and it's spreading. It's unavoidable. It's just like COVID-19. So I have a couple of these in mind. So we wanted to think of ones that could be in the value range of like late firsts, and then what players you could get for a second, what players you might want to get for a third. So I have for each of these, as Lou will probably start the clock any second here, but I have a running back and a wide receiver for each of these.
Oh my God.
I'll make it really quick. It doesn't have to be long. All right, you're wasting the time right now if you're just by groaning. All right, let me get through this. It'll be much quicker. Okay. So first, for late first, okay, I think you could get DK Metcalf for a late first right now. And I think I would do that. You're basically trading Xavier Worthy for DK Metcalf. And although I might rather have Xavier Worthy, if you put a gun to my head, I probably would. I still think DK is underrated. And I know that, they didn't have the greatest year, but he's still a super talent and maybe he gets moved. So, and the other for running back late first, I think I would trade one for Devin HN right now, if you need it. I'm not really big at trading first for running backs, but I think you can get him right now because of the uncertainty about his role and his lack of touches, but he's still an electric talent. So if you're a contender, do it. For a second, I think you can get Michael Pittman. I would smash that all day. I don't know if people are selling Michael Pittman for a second. Probably not. Probably have to be pretty early with someone that's on the board, during a rookie draft that he wants. But I think it's possible you could get him. And then maybe for a later second, I would do Josh Jacobs. So you're basically flipping, what might be, Marshawn Lloyd, Jalen Wright for Josh Jacobs, who has a shorter shelf life, right? He's 25, but if you're a contender, I think you may want to consider that. And then thirds, these are where they get fun because, who really cares about third round picks most of the time, right? You can really, I think, level up with these trades if you do it right. The first one's Terry McLaurin. He's got, wide receiver 1 to 2 potential, obviously in Washington with the new quarterback. And then Alvin Kamara. I know he's older, but I still think he's going to provide value for a third this year.
I think Kamara you can get for a third. I don't think you could get McLaurin for a third, and I don't think you can get Pittman for a 2. But they're close enough. To mention those guys and still. If you have to put something on, I will say I did trade 2/3 for McLaurin this offseason. So really
another third. Yeah. But I mean, that's an easy accept for me. I love he's only 28.
I mean, McLaurin has if you look at the last 5 years, he's up the top of the league in almost every stat. He he hasn't had a real down year. He's just always kind of underestimated. And so, yeah, I'm onto that. A few guys that I'm just targeting more so right now that if you've listened to this the last 3-4 years, you know that I hate Derrick Henry and have been trading him for the last 3-4 years, expecting it all to fall apart. I will give up a late second easily for him right now. I think he's going to have 2 dominant years in Baltimore at least. And, I mean, they have shown to get success from some older running backs in the past. This is going to be a guy that they're just going to feed. They're going to be a good offense. I'm buying Henry wherever I could.
Oh.
I think you can get Mixon for a mid to late second right now too, and that's another guy that I like to buy right now. A lot of people are trying to buy Zach Moss from me for a third. I'm not giving him up for a third, but I would love to buy him for a third. I think he's going to have the role there in Cincinnati. So those are a few guys that are running back that this is how I play Dynasty. And you know that very well. And I'm, pretty open about it with everybody I talk to is I'm going to always draft quarterbacks, wide receivers and tight ends, and then I'm going to try to tackle mid-round guys at running back, whether it be, when I finally get good enough to throw those out or whatever. And those are 3 guys that I'm targeting a really big amount this year. We mentioned it earlier, Pacheco, Rachaad White. I think both those guys are undervalued right now. I just think that they're both probably are going to demand an early second. And then when you think about who else is there, I can find my way off of that. Really for wide receiver, the only guy that I'm really find myself hitting right now, and then I think you can get him for a third, is Jerry Jeudy. The talent's there. Going to a new situation, an aging Amari Cooper. If you could get Jeudy for a third, I'm doing that all day. And then at tight end, I just think that there's a couple really good values at Gesicki and who's the other one? Jonnu Smith. I think both of those guys are in good situations in Miami and Cincy that, especially in these tight end premium leagues, they can score pretty big for you. And you see those names, no matter what, no matter if you're in a 2 tight end premium league, you see those names and you're not expecting more than a late second, early third. And I think you can get them both for somewhere around there from a team that's again, wait your draft out. You mentioned earlier, someone sitting there at 212 or 213, depending on what, and someone wants that pick bad enough, they might give you a veteran that's, undervalued right now. So those are a few guys that I'm kind of looking for.
Yeah. If I could just mention one more that you made me think of while we're doing this. So and this one I don't think is likely to happen in most other places, but I traded a third for Josh Downs and a fourth. And I think that everyone is a little hyped, very hyped about Adonai Mitchell, and he could turn out to be that second, option in their offense, but it also still could be Josh Downs. We've not seen him play a full season or nearly a full season with Richardson. And I'm taking some dart throws on any of those Indy receivers, just hoping that my prediction of Richardson taking off is correct.
You heard it here first.
There it is.
All right.
Sorry.
We are moving on to not my question for Aaron Rodgers.
I want to hear you say it.
We're moving on to the dick move draft.
Man, that's so hot.
Dick in the world. So we're going to talk about the biggest.
What are we going to talk about? Hold on.
I'm 12, everyone. So
one more time.
Oh God. The regular dick moves that have happened, and we're gonna. Lou, why did we pick this for this week?
I don't know. Just
Okay.
I was like last week. No, it kind of played. What was last week? The small wins, or 2 weeks ago, small wins.
Oh, okay.
And I kind of played off of that a little bit. Let's go the opposite way.
I respect that.
And it's just one of those weeks. I will say I know a couple things are going to come up that I will not be drafting, that I'm pretty sure you guys will be drafting, that I have had arguments against this week, and I think that had something to do. So I'm excited to have one of you guys pick a couple things here that I want to, because I'm a dickhead. There are a couple pro dick moves here that I'm about, so I'm waiting.
Yeah.
But let me get
I'm going to say I only have 4, so if anyone takes what I have, I will have to immediately start Googling things or thinking.
I feel like you're going to be pretty original with yours, but
okay.
We'll go with that. All right, Ryan number 1, Ellie 2, and I'm 3.
Okay. All right, giddy up, everyone.
All right.
Okay. So
Ryan.
For the first pick of the dick move draft, I am going to take what I think is the single biggest red flag about someone's character that you could ever have, and that is you don't return the shopping cart back to the corral.
That's it. No, that's
Fine.
what I want to fight
Give me my minute.
No,
give me my
we are
minute.
Gonna fight
right?
I am so
Just
glad
give me
we're
my.
gonna fight right
Listen,
now.
it's not your pick.
What?
It's not
What?
your pick.
You
Fine.
start.
Give me a second. All right.
What?
First of all, here's the problem. I don't want to hear your excuses about why you can't do it. All right. Other than some sort of physical limitation, which, I'm not going to get upset with someone for that. All right. But if you are able-bodied and you can walk your ass over to the corral where you put the shopping carts, go do it. All right. You're not bigger than the world. We live in a society. You have a job to do, and you have to live with other people on this earth. So just be courteous. Don't leave your shopping cart in the perfectly placed spot of this parking spot that you're convinced that no one's going to, hit if they park in that spot. No, just go put it away like an adult. Stop being a baby and grow up.
Whoa, Ryan, I feel like that's a personal attack. He was like, it's not your pick. Shut up. They pay people to do that. There is literally a guy who lives in his mother's basement that is in every parking lot to do that.
No,
I'm being honest. Listen, I am not leaving them like in the middle of the parking lot so people could hit them or they could slide. I am doing the humane thing. I'm finding the curb.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
You put it up on the curb, and they're not going to hurt anything. And then the kid that is getting paid to do this goes and gets the carts.
All right, but he's not getting paid to do that.
It's a job doesn't mean it should be hard. Like that is so rude. It's always someone that can like barely get a job. It's like people in my family that really need jobs that like maybe have a disability. I have a sibling that like that's what he does, and that's his job because he's not good around people, and because it's like he has a disability. So like you're making him now go out of his way to like because you're like.
Way to make me feel shitty with the whole I have a brother with a disability thing. I can't. Okay, if I saw your brother, I would have brought it over. but like there are times that okay, I have a 3-year-old. And I know Ryan does too. What if it's one of those things where I'm like carrying her on my shoulder because she's going nuts, and then I have to throw her in, and then she's crying, and all she wants to do is go home. Go ahead.
This is why you chose a bear over a man. You don't want your kid to cry, but you want a bear to mauler. So
I know people think I'm just being anti whatever to be anti whatever. I'm not. This is a legit thought of mine.
But it's all right. Let me just, so my thing is that it's about respect for the people that are doing the job, that is not necessarily to collect them from the parking lot. It's to collect them from the corral, which is where they're supposed to go, and then bring them back into the store. And on top of it, all right, let's say you had to take had to go to the bathroom, right? Do you go in there and you just blow up a bathroom knowing a janitor's got to clean up after you? Or do you go to a restaurant and do you just throw shit all over the floor because you're like, well, somebody's job to do this? Just
wait, are you asking me if I've ever blown up a bathroom in a public place? Because the answer is fucking yes. Are you am I supposed to be worried about the person cleaning it up? I have to shit. What are you talking about? I know.
I'm talking about like a scenario where maybe it gets a little messier and you're careless about things, right? You're just
you push harder than you have to. Is what
I will say that I've never sat on a public toilet. I can't do it. I can't do it. I do the hover, so I'm sure I'm messy. But I don't know. You guys are thinking. Listen, it's like the coffee, the baristas that go to unionize and say that Allie's ready to fight, that they need more money. It's a starter job. You're getting paid to make coffee. You're not supposed to have a fucking career. You're cleaning shit. You're cleaning bathrooms. Just fucking clean my shit when it happens. I'm not doing it on purpose.
That was the moment that ended Allie's hard 75 right there.
I know Allie just quit hard 75. Immediately, like in the middle of that rant, she was like, I need a drink. All right, who's next? I'll stop talking, but that's a horrible pick and whatever. We'll see how the votes go.
Dick,
I have one more that I'm ready to fight.
I'm just so like okay.
I know you're judging. That's fine.
Well, because I will say, just sometimes we're just born in the right country, in the right womb, whatever, and we just happen to be in a great spot. Some people like really don't want to aspire just to clean up other people's poop at a gas station. Like they want to be more, but they can't. Okay. I hope that's the clip.
Yeah, my next biggest dick move is taking a shit in the and leaving it.
Yeah, that's my power move. You want to know what?
Ellie's
my power move.
Ellie's gonna come ask to hang out one day. She's gonna leave me an upper decker.
As a vegetarian since 1997, I'm gonna eat meat one day just to ruin your life and your back.
We are way too late. We're running too late. Pick a fucking pick.
Okay,
please.
So this now means nothing after that. Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's my fault.
This is so stupid. Okay. All right. I want to say when you apply to a job, which you guys don't have to do because you're all like business owners. Okay. But when someone like me who has to apply to a gas station, when you apply to a job and you don't get an interview, just a rejection letter, and then those said people from that organization come up to me at a fucking comedy show and ask to take a picture with me because they think I'm great, or at a gig I've done, even though I've applied, and then they just gave me a careless rejection letter without actually reading my very high qualified, high educational, well-deserved interview.
Wait a second. My rant was bad. Ellie just had a therapy session right there. Holy fuck.
Did we know that this draft was going to strike a chord? I mean, this is...
It all started with the band.
None of us are happy. We should probably quit this right now. We're all really bad.
Can we turn this into like a pop culture podcast? This literally even happened last week to me. I have applied to a company, and No, nothing. But MBA, I have all the stuff. I have a great one. I have best
All
smart.
right, we get it. You're
No,
smart.
I'm saying it's not about that. It's the same thing. It was like I have a well-deserved, because I'm not crapping on my, I've deserved things, certain things.
Right.
Didn't even get an interview or a call. And then they asked the person who was like at the job, like asked for a photo with me. Like, can I get a photo with you? Like,
you
what?
know that she knew you? Did she definitely know you?
If
she
comes
definitely
up to
know
me,
who you were. I mean, maybe you were so forgettable during the interview that she didn't know you were the comedian.
But I'm the only person that doesn't get an interview and gets a rejection letter and then gets asked for a photo when they're at a.
You didn't get an interview.
No, not even just a rejection letter.
Oh, okay. I thought you got an interview.
No.
Right.
Maybe it's just company policy to get pictures with all rejected applicants. They're just like, hey,
I'm on their people you should have known board.
Yeah, right. They put it on a wall.
Your birthday. Yeah. Anyway, all right, Louis, your turn.
Right. I'll make it quick. Okay. All right. My top biggest dick move is it's that one where you kind of do. You do this. No.
Same.
Thank you, Ryan. Like Allie didn't laugh, and I was like, "Oh my god, if neither of them laugh, it's gonna be really bad." I was seriously gonna just hit end. I was gonna go upstairs. Thank you. No, that's not it. That's
funny.
That's the one. I think driving slow in the fast lane is gotta be the one. Like, because I drive slow. I am a slow driver, but I will never like be in the fast lane because I know I got my license suspended at like 20 years old because I had like 7 speeding tickets and I've never gone over the speed limit since. Like I'm
after the 7 that you got.
Yeah. You know, after that year and a half that I had to spend without a license, it taught me. All right, that. Only because I think you guys are going to take this. This isn't my favorite one, but I'll have 2 funny ones for later. Ghosting is such a shitty move. Like, just fucking text. Be a man or a woman and be like, listen, I really didn't love the sex. It wasn't good. Or listen, you're not personable at all, and I think you should kill yourself. Just be honest. Is all I want from that situation. Don't just go away and make me wonder what it was, because if someone ghosts me, I'm like, I was too good for him. they were intimidated, which is fine for me to go with it. But I think sometimes maybe I needed like a little reality check. Maybe I thought this flannel looked good and it was really ugly to everyone.
What if they told you it was because you don't return your shopping cart to the corral?
Oh, right.
Would it change your ways? Would you change your
ways? like, listen, you were really funny, cute, and attractive, and I thought I had a future with you. But then we went grocery shopping, and you didn't bring your cart back, and Ellie's brother had to walk 10 more feet. I'm just saying, I'm not making fun. I'm just saying you're mad at me because of it.
There's certain deal breakers, and I would love that. Like, I know he blows up public bathrooms, but
he gives his children to bears. But I'll tell you what,
that the going slow in traffic was one of my things, which I would have chose when they go in front of you, they merge in front of you and then go slower. That was mine, but that's too close. That is the worst. They cut in front of you and then go slow. But yours is still, I would say that's still part of it. So I'm going to switch one of mine, and I, on the cuff, made up one, which is showing up late to anything, like in an excessive amount of time, not like, but like I don't really care, 15, 20, 30 minutes. Like that is, time is our only non-renewable resource we have. And I could have said that at a job interview. What's up?
Let's do it.
Knowledge. I find it so rude, and that's just a power move, which is such a loser move. Anyway, okay, Ryan.
All right. I think I'm going to secure the win here with just the best 1-2 punch of dick moves of all time. this is catching a foul ball or a home run as an adult and not giving it to a kid.
The kid, that's so good.
Yeah, but
That is
good.
the
That
worst.
is really good. That's the
Is there
number
ever
one.
a way to defend that? No, you can't
That's
defend it.
good. No, I love that.
And instant dick move. Okay.
No.
I have a couple here. I could go 6 on this, but I'm gonna say, and this is very cliche, but it's standing up or cutting ahead. As soon as the airplane lands, you're getting up and you're trying to like move through rows because
You're
you
winning.
think
You're
your
winning.
life is
thing.
so
That's
much
such
more
another good
important
one.
than somebody else's. And look, I just recently traveling back from San Diego, they make the announcement where there's tight connections, right? Because of delays. And that's fine, right? If the people, but all of those people are not legitimately on tight connections, right? So I just do not put yourself above anyone else. That's like the theme of all of these, right? Just be a little bit selfless. And so that's terrible. And I immediately lose respect. Also had like kind of a confrontation with a woman about this at one point because I was like, listen, you can't do this. Like, how this works, right? You've been on an airplane before. You should not do this. So there you go.
I think you're taking home the gold. But I will, as a now here I am. You're now my Louis. As a devil's advocate, there are people who have had blood clots, and when they're on an airplane for more than an hour, they have to stand up. So sometimes when people stand up, it's because they have to like not sit. So I will say that. Okay.
I will also grant that exception. I totally, for health reasons, everything else, like that's understandable. But I'm saying for the majority of people, that it's just no reason at all.
Yeah, the moment when the plane lands and they're fucking already halfway in the aisle, like those people are just douchebags. No, I get it. You're
100%. Yeah. My
We'll never say 100 again. Don't you just did that like real ghetto. You're like 100 dog.
Well, hold on. Okay. Okay, so my number 3 is U2 forcing the Red album on our phones back September 9th, 2014 with the album Songs of Innocence. That was a freaking dick move. Look at me. You guys want to listen to my songs? Yes, I did like the album. It was because this is where you find out if your friends have Androids or iPhones.
Oh yeah, I definitely had an Android. So
yeah, okay. So U2 forced it. By the way, I like the album, but I think most people were upset because it's like data. And just forcing an album. Just think about an artist. I mean, as also an Irish American, I'm pro U2. I was not anti this, but it was a dick move to be like, everyone loves U2, which the reality is not everyone does. And I think it's a dick move to be like, you have to all of a sudden take your data and listen to Songs of Innocence. 2014, man. Still can't. 10 years later, I'm still thinking about it.
All right. My last 2 picks, and I realized that I have not endeared myself to the crowd tonight. I totally get that, and I could have gone. I could go the easy way here, but I'm going to dig my hole a little bit bigger.
Ew.
Yeah, it just. Amber Alerts. Like, I get it, but the kids, I have a 3-year-old, all right? But can we, like, at 2:00 in the morning and they're ringing my phone like it's a fucking fire alarm? I don't even give a fuck if it's my own kid at 2:00 in the morning, okay? Let me wake up, have my coffee, and we'll go deal with it. At 2 a.m.? What is going on? I need some sleep. It's just a dick move. I'm sure. Listen, if the kid's missing at 2, how much more trouble can it be? Listen, if it was with a bear, it would be fine. If it was with a bear, it would be totally okay. If it was with Uncle Dirk, then I'd be worried.
I just love how this all boils down to your abduction was inconvenient for me. Like, that's it. I'm so sorry that it woke you out of a little slumber, but on the off chance that you might know where this person is, you're like, oh.
I'm just saying a matter of 4 hours isn't going to crack the case. Just let me sleep until the sun comes up, and then I will help you in all your efforts.
Have you not seen any sort of Law and Order?
The first 14, what are they? First 24, what is it?
Listen, this is my list. This isn't your list. This is my list.
So
I am losing.
It's not going to get any better. Can't get any better. Let's see. I've had a few of them.
Wait till you see my loser fucking.
I know this one's.
Oh my god, I
This
can't
is
even.
a really bad story, but I don't think you guys know about it, and I think I want to tell it. Okay, so Jesse, we know Jesse. He's been on the podcast like once a couple years
Jesse.
ago. A good friend of mine. Yeah, hi Jesse. He's probably listening.
Louis
This
sucks,
is
Jesse.
this is the biggest dick move I've witnessed in my life. We were there, three of us, me, another buddy, and him, and there was these two girls that my one buddy was interested in. I said, all right, let's go play darts with the two girls. I will pay attention to the fat one. I mean, sorry, not fat, ugly. I'm sorry. I gotta be clear. She was not fat. She was just really okay. So I said, I'm gonna get. Is the show canceled now? I said I'm going to keep her company, and you do your thing. And he did. He was like for an hour playing darts. This girl likes him. I'm like trying to pretend like I, like this girl's archery classes or whatever she was talking about. There. So it's good for an hour. Jesse, meanwhile, is sitting at the bar by himself, sulking because I'm not cool enough. I was like, I mean, you could take my whatever. He was there, and then after an hour, he goes to the bartender. He rips a shot. He goes, "Watch this shit," and he comes over to us. Hasn't said two words with us in an hour. Goes through the girl's purse. Pulls out a tampon and goes, "What are you on your period, bitch?" And that immediately, like in hours, and all he did was do that to cut off the hours worth of work that the girls couldn't leave quick enough.
Understandable.
Oh my god! And the funny thing is you both met Jesse, nicest guy in the world. Like it just came out of. It was, I'm going to go ruin these guys' night. And, all he did for me was get the fat girl away from me. So it wasn't that bad. But ugly. I'm sorry, Ellie. I didn't mean fat.
I can't even explain the amount of offensive this was.
I know. It's been a lot. I'll write an apology letter later. I told you I had 4 drinks. 4.
Wow, you're that many. Okay, okay.
Go. Just go.
Just because you play darts, the most dull game ever, doesn't mean you all of a sudden get to have sex with someone. Also saying that I've never been.
Listen, he was doing fine. The girl liked him until that moment, but that's what happens when you have shitty friends like Jesse.
Yeah, but like after a game of darts, I'm never like, I can't wait to smooch. Wow. I'm like, great.
Maybe you're not playing darts with the right guys. I don't know what to tell you.
Nothing. What danger. I'm playing a dangerous game of metal and cork. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm sorry to all the listeners who are offended.
There's a lot that are still here.
So I'm just going to keep this.
At least you're still here. I didn't lose any listeners. So that's good.
All right, everyone. Here's the very, very not even PG, G rated dick move. I'm not even called dick. I'm gonna say mean move because it's so PG. I don't even know why I'm saying this. Who am I? I just resign. When you're charged $7 for a bottle of water at a sporting event, I just think that's a dick move.
No, that's good. I don't think that's a bad one. That's good. I mean, I know it's not. I know it's not my. I know it's not very out there, but that's such a dick move. I hate. Yeah,
I'm getting
especially when you're like football games, like you're expecting those people to be like the DDs, like getting people home.
Or when you're like me, who has a sibling who just can't make as much money as you, Louis. And $7 just to stay hydrated is a lot of his paycheck and hard-earned.
Yeah.
Almost.
No, seriously. I think it's I 100% agree with you. It's whatever. Say what you want about concessions, charge what you want for beers and stuff, but like bottled waters, we're paying $7 for. It's
so dumb. There's even more when like at other stadiums, but or concerts, I've paid $12 for water, which is very offensive. But anyway, it's not pulling out of tampon.
Sorry, it's not that offensive. I did say a different word. He did not say bitch. I just want to be clear. It was worse. So, like, I mean, like, I literally made it better for the podcast. That's how bad. Okay, go ahead, Brian.
All right.
So, the same way.
Before I give my final pick, I have an honorable mention that it just doesn't fall into like my team build here. But I think very low scale dick move is purposely ruining somebody's best ball stack. And I just recently saw, I think it was my friend, my good friend JJ Zachariason, tweet about it, about how he was trying to build an Atlanta stack and somebody, took Kirk Cousins 30 spots ahead of ADP. And look, I typically like don't reach, but if somebody screws me in a draft and like I just start throwing it, towards the end in one of these cheap little throw-in drafts, like, yeah, I'll stick it to somebody from now and then. So that's not the pick though. All right, sorry. So just wanted an honorable mention rant, but the last one, my last pick is specifically, it's mostly a Buffalo reference, but you can relate to it elsewhere. But waiting till the last second to merge onto the 33 from the 198. Okay. And like going all the way down. And I'm going to try to sneak in. Okay.
I did it all the time. Yeah.
I know. And
Who are you?
It's just, come
That's
on.
Bad.
Just get in, get in line. You got to get in line. Again, there's circumstances for everything. There can be emergencies, and like you hope that the people are only doing it under those circumstances, but that's not the case. So that's a dick move.
I will say this: I'm voting for Ryan.
Ryan Crush for sure.
And Louis, I hope he goes to confession because I feel like I'm so sorry if anyone has indigestion or acid reflux or anxiety for listening to the terror.
I had a thing in mind to close us out tonight, and now I don't know if it will mean as much because I played a dickhead the whole time. But if you'll give me a minute to close out the show, like this week I lost an employee of mine that's like a 21-year-old kid to like a drunk driver that just got hit and killed, and it was a really tough week. And I, if I can put that message out anywhere to like, if that can change the way that you think about things, this kid was just a really good kid amongst a family full of bad people. He came out, he was going to come out good, and unfortunately he didn't get to live the rest of his life. So like I'm not the one that like will pat myself on the back for this. I think I will speak for just myself, but I've made really bad decisions getting behind the wheel in my life, and I think this will just kind of change that forever. And I guess what I want to end the show with is just don't wait for that to happen too close to you before you reconsider the same thing. So I'm sorry for closing. I just didn't want to do this early on and start off sad, but I think it was important for me to share.
Thank you for sharing that, Louis. We're sorry that you lost a member of your work family, which is family, and it's senseless, and I'm sure it's hard to come to terms with this kind of situation and story, and its potential when it's lost is just heartbreaking. And our thoughts go out to you and your everyone who's involved and everyone at work. But we will.
Sorry, you can't even end the show. You can end the show.
I'm still angry that
I made you cry before the show. I'm sorry about that.
No, well, I'm bad sensitive. I'm see that you're not putting shopping carts back, so I'm enraged. No, but it has. I know it has not been an easy week for you. Have a lot of moving parts, but with that great message. And stay safe out there, everyone. And Uber, Lyft, all that. It's not just you you're protecting, it's everyone else. So thank you for listening. And thank you for listening to Analytics Are for the Nerds.
See you next week.